Well, I'm finally back for my third video. It's been a while coming. I have been quite ill. Some days I've had good days and bad days, but I'm tapering clonazepam that I was on for 14 years. I'm down to 0.25, which is a victory. I do a micro taper each night, and I wanted to come and make this video today because I want to talk about insomnia. I've started two groups on Facebook because I'm healing and I'm going to drag as many other people with me as possible. And I believe that God has given me a broad range of knowledge in nutrition and healing, and so I want to share that. And by the way, I'm learning so much from you guys who've joined my two groups already. My first group is Rebuild, Renew, Restore, and it's fantastic. It's basically focusing on whole food nutrition and other physical, emotional, and spiritual healing solutions. My second group is the one I'm going to focus on today. It's called Insomnia No More. And as we taper benzodiazepines or any other sleep medication for that matter, sleep usually becomes a problem. I personally have had a very tumultuous relationship with sleep throughout my entire life. My mother was awake all night. As I shared in my last video, she was on benzos, and she was, in my room harassing me most nights. She would put me to bed way too early when the birds were still chirping and the kids were still playing hide and go seek outside my window. She would ask me to choose what side I was going to lay on and that I needed to stay on that side all night long. This was her way of controlling my sleep because she had such an issue with sleep herself because of her benzo use. She thought she could maybe save me from the same fate, but in the end it was just a sickness that pervaded my childhood. At 13, I ran away and lived in a Salvation Army box for almost a year. You can imagine that my sleep there was not too peaceful, as I slept with one ear open, always waiting for something to happen. Then I ended up in a group home in the Children's Aid. There was no, what's the word I'm looking for? This is one of the benzo withdrawal symptoms where you can't find your words even if you're a well-spoken person. There was trauma all the time and drama all the time in that group home, so sleep was an issue. I think I had my first good night's sleep at about the age of 17 when my best friend from high school, Mr. and Mrs. Compton, her parents took me in. I felt safe and loved for the first time in my life, and I slept well. In my 20-year marriage, I had a baby with colic for many years, and I had other issues in my marriage that I won't go into, but that resulted in lots of insomnia. When I left my marriage, I moved to a remote place and bought a house in the forest, thinking I would sleep there, but it was not meant to be, because in 2004, I had a fall down a flight of stairs. I fractured my neck, broke my arm in pieces with a compound fracture, and knocked out my sleep center with a severe brain injury, and was put on the clonazepam. I want to tell you that benzos are not the answer, ever. If you have a strong brain, like I did, you might make it through a few years before you go into tolerance withdrawal, and then the benzo stops working. I would suggest that if you are on benzos right now, you rethink your decision and proceed with a slow taper. Do not stop immediately. You can contact me if you want more information on that. So when my doctor in February tapered me too quickly, not knowing how to do it, I fell into a sleep crisis. So there were a couple of weeks there where I literally did not sleep at all. I don't believe I lost consciousness at all for a couple of weeks. And I thought, this time, rather than panicking, the last time it had been a 6-month sleep crisis, this time I decided I would read every book, read every article, and take every sleep course that was available to me, because I knew that meds were not going to be the answer for me. You know, there's a saying, it says, insomnia is very common. Try not to lose any sleep over it. And I believe in that saying. You know, we may have difficulty initiating or maintaining sleep over a period of 1 to 6 months. That's really the definition of insomnia. But we need to examine what our belief systems are about sleep. And for me, that was the key to restoring my sleep. I'm not sleeping perfectly, but I'm sleeping an average of seven and a half hours per night. And so what I've decided to do, this is part 2 of keeping me off welfare and of me keeping you out of the hospital. I'm referring to my second video. I'm going to offer a sleep coaching course of 8 weeks, which would involve group and private coaching. I'm going to go live in my Insomnia No More room, and I'm going to address a number of issues that are critical for sleeping and answer questions, etc. So I'm going to start that course off with a quiz that's going to examine our belief system around sleep, a belief system that actually can stop us from sleeping. We know that our thoughts create feelings, our feelings create behaviors, and then our behaviors create thoughts, and so it becomes a vicious cycle. I want to break you out of that vicious cycle. We're going to look at some of the causes of insomnia and see if we can't address the root cause rather than what meds do, which is only treat the symptoms. We're going to measure the 7 components of your sleep. I found this to be really effective. One of the courses I took taught me how to do this, and so I'm going to help you do it as well. My score when I started out was 14, and 5 or higher is rated as insomnia. I'm now at about a 6, because yeah, I still have the odd night where I don't sleep very well, and that's okay. We're going to do a sleep quality assessment, and I was actually surprised when I did that assessment at how much I was actually sleeping. It might have only been, 10, 15 minutes at a time, little cat naps, but I was getting some sleep. I'm going to teach you how to keep an effective sleep diary. So encouraging when you see your sleep increasing, even if it's just over a week or even over a couple of months. But what that sleep diary does is it allows you to formulate a sleep plan. And yes, my friends, we can plan to sleep like we plan to do many things in life. We're going to be resetting our circadian rhythm. I'm going to teach you how to do that, and that video will be interesting because it's going to be outside. I'm going to share my morning ritual that accomplishes effective circadian rhythm. I'm going to address limbic system dysfunction, which is what we get into when we're in tolerance withdrawal on benzos or when we're tapering. We're going to look at the nutrition that favors GABA receptor growth and upregulation, and we're going to look at nutrition that does not exacerbate glutamate receptors, which are the receptors that are so upregulated during benzo use. I'm going to talk to you about what to eat just before bed. And this is good even for those that are not brain damaged by a benzo. We need to understand the sleep cycle so that we can effectively figure out what time to go to bed. Yes, there is a perfect time for you to go to bed. And my friends who know me well know that they know what that time is, and they can message me and call me, up until that time. I'm going to share my calming nighttime ritual that helps with sleep, and hopefully you'll be able to adopt some or all of it. And I'm going to take you inside my bedroom. Not many people have been in there. I'm going to share the 10 secrets of my bedroom oasis. And I think you're going to love it, and I think you're going to learn from it. I want to talk to you about the something in the air. There's something in the air that probably is interfering with your sleep. And I know that for me, because there's only a couple of other places other than my own bedroom that I can sleep well at, and there's a reason for that. So we'll talk about it. I'm going to share my favorite sleep meditation with you, and I'm going to share who's speaking as I fall asleep each night. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to share what to do if I wake up. Actually, I do wake up lots because I have to pee a lot, because I know that it's important to drink a lot. I'm going to share how to deal with anxiety and intrusive thoughts. I want to talk a little bit about the natural herbs that can help with sleep. And again, that would be a transition only if you were in complete insomnia, to transition yourself into sleeping. And it would just be short term. I'm going to share the one supplement that even those in acute withdrawal can tolerate for the most part. And when I posted to a very, very experienced group of people who've gone through benzo withdrawal and gone through prolonged benzo withdrawal syndrome and all kinds of, horrific experiences and sickness that lasted, 5, 6, 10 years for some of them. And I asked them, what is, if you knew now, or if you knew then what you know now, what would you do? And they said this one supplement, which I already knew because it's been helping me. It's a game changer, and it's been giving me a deeper sleep and a longer sleep. I slept for 9 hours. Sorry, if you're not sleeping at all, that would be very difficult to hear. But I slept for 9 hours last night. It was awesome and allowed me to do this video. We're going to talk a little bit about hormones and their effect on sleep and what you can do to balance them. We're going to talk about breathing and other natural therapies that can help you. And then I took a little poll in my insomnia group and asked, what would you like me to talk about? So we're going to talk about what to take if you have a condition that limits what you can take for sleep. And in researching that, that one condition, that one person, and I invite you to go on Insomnia No More if you have a specific health issue, and put it out there. Say, this is what I'm suffering from. What can I take? It's not that I have all the answers, but maybe someone else in the room has some answers. And we can find out the answers. So anyways, when I went to look at that one condition, which was epilepsy, to do the research, guess what? It was the same supplement. It's not really a supplement, but it was the same product that has allowed me to get 9 hours sleep last night. It was the same product that these experienced people who've gone through benzo withdrawal over a 10-year period said if they had it to do over, they'd never stop taking it. They'd never even give it a rest. They would just take it. We're going to talk about how to deal with the adrenal and cortisol surges that we get in benzo withdrawal in the middle of the night. I mean, I was getting probably, I don't know, a lot of them, probably 10, maybe 20 some nights. Horrible. I'm now getting, 1 or 2, usually in the early part of the morning. One person said, how do we stay asleep? Oh, wow. I mean, that's the question, right? That's the big question. I never really had a huge problem getting to sleep. It's how we stay asleep. How to overcome addiction to electronics. Well, that's a video all in itself. We're going to probably have to put that in its own video. How to cope the next day dear Pam, if you are, not sleeping at all. So there's more that we have no time to go into, but I'm going to provide this for free. If you need it to be free, if you're like me and you can't work, I've applied for disability. Who knows how long that will be coming through. But you're welcome to come in and watch it. If you can afford to send a little donation, fantastic. I'm down from 2 businesses to none, and most days I'm too sick to work. So I probably will be putting, 20 hours a week, as much as I can, being unwell, into researching this and putting this sleep coaching course together. So, let's just support each other. Let's just help each other through this. Like I said, let's do this journey together. So glad to have you along, and would love your feedback. Please share this video.